Rendering. Rendering with Maya. First of all, you'll want to be in the rendering menu set. And do we have rendering here? Yeah. There are a lot of little things. You'll have to watch this video when you're doing it. Here are the rendering settings. This is what's key. You go in here and there are 5 or 6 things you need to change. The first thing is the name. So I'll call this test of rendering. The next one, I'll explain this in a moment, not right now, just for now. Let me go here to name, number, extension. And the file type will be GIF. All right. Name, number, extension. The deal is that when we render this, I've only got 48 frames. You have 528. I have to render 48, or you have to render 528 different pictures. And those pictures get run together as an animation. So how are we going to name each one of those 528 files? Well, we've got to have some sort of a convention. And the best convention to pick is name.number.extension. So it'll be test of rendering 1.extension, which is GIF. Test of rendering 2.gif, which is a separate file name, and so on. So there'll be 528 files. There'll be tons and tons of these files that have to be strung together. So name, the third one there, name, number, extension, and GIF. In terms of the frames that I'm going to render, in order for you to see the animations, I better render at least 20. But it's going to take a while. It'll take at least 30 seconds probably to render this. Finally, you need to change to your camera. I don't have a camera yet, so I'm going to close this, give myself a camera. I really don't have to do anything with it, but let me just pretend that I did something with it. Although, actually, that's a good point. If I'm going to render with this camera, I'm going to have to put it in the right place. I'm not going to waste your time, though. I'm not going to render with this camera. I'm going to render with the perspective. So I'm going to go back here, and I am just going to leave it on perspective, but you will change to your camera, which you know is the good camera. But if I did that, I don't know where it's aimed for right now. The other thing that you might play around with a little bit later on is changing the different rendering units. I know Maya software works. These may work better depending on what types of stuff you've got. So I'll stick with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you will have to change your ending frame to be 528. 5, possibly 6. And you just close. The rendering is now ready to happen. So you render from the render menu of the rendering set, batch render. And it takes a little while to get going, but down here you'll see the progress. There it's going to start. It's going to go through, however many frames, and it's kind of hard to tell how many frames have been done. If you look really closely, you can see it. I think it's up to 6 maybe. But over here, if you've got in your dock a low enough number of items, you can actually see it. And I can't because I got so many items. But I think it's up to number, if I could look really closely, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so we'll just wait till it's finished. And once all of these images are rendered, we've got to get into another application to string them together. The application of choice is going to be QuickTime Player Pro. You won't be able to do this on your laptops because you don't have Pro, and Pro does not allow what I'm about to do, which is file this, open image sequence. You can only open a file in your QuickTime, but on these machines with the Pro, you can open up image sequence. And okay, open it up to the correct place, but I better find that for you. The correct place is from your home folder into Documents. And again, just rewind this and play it again when you're ready to do this. Maya. There it is. And then on through the different things. Date modified. There it is. So I've got 20 frames. I open the first, and QuickTime will play the rest. We won't say who that was or what happened. And go OK, 24 frames per second. And you're not going to see much because it's not even a second. But watch it again. That's what you're going to get, that sort of stuff. And finally, almost finished, the last step then is to save this as, and it'll save as a self-contained .mov file, .mov. So go to your folder and save it as .mov. And we're not quite finished even then because we need to add the music to it, but that'll be the first good step that some of you will get to today. So that is rendering in Maya.